Okie dokie, artichoke. Let's get started on math. So if you are confused on anything for math today, you can look back at what we did yesterday. So notice how today's page 7 is exactly like page 2, right? Just like I said yesterday, the only difference is they're changing some of the numbers. So today I'm going to be reading the problems to you, but you are going to be answering them on your own. This is your graded math for the week to see what you know about fractions. So it says that Joe has 3/8 of a pizza, and I wish I had 3/8 of a pizza right now because I'm hungry. That's what I get for skipping breakfast. It says show the number of equal parts in the pizza and then shade the model to show 3/8. You can either use your pencil tool or you can grab 4 lines from your shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I've got 4 lines here. See, oops, I got too many. See, a couple people joined us. I'm going to add you for attendance. Thanks for joining. We are on our math activity, so you'll want to press finish response on your math work that we started yesterday. All right, so now that I have 4 lines, I'm going to take one of these and move it straight across my circle. That's called the diameter. Ooh, fancy math terms for today. Then I'm going to take one and turn it upside down. So it's standing up, vertical line, and I'm going to make a crisscross. Now my other two, I'm going to make a little bit shorter so they fit the circle still. But I'm going to, I don't know what happened there. I'm going to do this and I'm going to drag it so it makes a diagonal. I want to drag it a little bit more to make equal pieces. There we go. That looks about equal. Just like that. Then same thing with this one. I'm going to drag it to make it another diagonal to go through this side to make about equal pieces there. Perfect. If you want to use the pencil tool instead, you totally can. You would just do down, over, half, and half. My halves are terrible. Let me try that again. Let's see. Half and half. That's a little bit better. So it's up to you if you want to use the lines or a pencil tool. Whatever you choose. You're making about 8 equal pieces. You're cutting it in half for 2 pieces. Half of those is 4. Half of each of those makes 8. Double, double, double. Once you're done with that, you need to explain how you knew how many equal parts and how many parts to shade. Now, if you're like, oh man, I don't quite remember, you can look back at page 2. It's the same question. So I'll give you a sentence starter and you're going to fill it in. The blank number tells me how many equal parts there are in all. The blank number tells me how many parts to shade in. So tell me which number, the top or bottom number, tells you about equal parts. And then is it the top or the bottom number that tells you how many parts to shade in? I'm going to type this also in the chat. That way, whoops, what is happening? No. Okay, got it this time. There we go. That way you have it in the chat as well. And then 3, 2, 1. It's in the chat. And then you're just filling in those blanks. Is it the top or bottom number that tells you the equal parts? And is it the top or bottom number that tells you how many to shade in? Do you edit it or just post on YouTube? I just post the video. Yeah, I'm not a good editor. I wish I was that cool. Like some people can edit YouTube videos and make it like transitions and stuff and really cool, and I'm not that good. All right. Question 2. Which fraction is shown at point P on the number line? Here's the point. Just like yesterday, I'm going to draw my candy bar from 0 to 1. That top line. It gets me every time, you guys. Every time. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. All right. I'm going to draw my equal pieces. Here we go. Okie dokie, artichoke. So, awesome. Hold on. I'm a little OCD with it. I like my lines to be perfect if I can. So, when I get to point P, that means that they have shaded in these two pieces. I've gone this far on my number line, and then this point says, stop, I'm right here. What fraction is that? Circle or highlight your choice. All right, I'm going to move on to page 8. Go ahead and finish up that problem on page 7. Alrighty. Looks like most of us are on page 7 ready to go. All right, just like yesterday, it says the top fraction shows 1/2 shaded. Right here is 1/2. It wants us to shade an equivalent fraction using the bottom fraction strips. So if we need to shade an equivalent amount and then write the equivalent fractions, just like I showed you yesterday, and it may have been the other group that I showed, I'm going to click my marker tool twice to get my big dot. I'm going to make it white. Then I'm going to go and just kind of erase with that white marker this half of that fraction. That way it's so much easier to see which part I need to shade. Isn't that magic? It's like a magic marker. Hey, Marie, I'm not sure when you joined us, but I'm glad you're here. Got you marked for attendance.
I had internet problems.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad you were able to make it work well enough to join. I know sometimes that internet just does not want to play nicely, does it? I feel you, girl. It happens. Alrighty. So when I take that white marker and erase the rest of it, if I want to erase it and get it back, I always can. Look at that magic. What? But it helps me see what I'm working with here. And it shows me that 1/2 equals a certain number of fourths. So with my highlighter tool, I need to highlight however many fourths equal the same as 1/2. And then I'm going to write those two fractions. 1/2 equals what fraction? What was the blue fraction? And then make sure you shade it also. Question 4 is the same as question 4 on page 3. So if you're like, man, this one's tricky, look back at page 3. It's the same as this page, but with different numbers. So again, we have our fun diamond shape, and it shows 1/6 of a shape. It wants us to draw what 4/6 would look like. So just like yesterday, I'm going to click my 3 dots. I'm going to click my shapes. I'm going to grab an orange square. And I'm going to make it about as big as it is here. Close enough. Now, remember, just like yesterday, if you want to tilt it by pressing that, you can. You don't have to. You can keep it just up and down if you'd like, because it's still the same size. This is 1/6. I need to make 4/6. Go ahead and do that. If you're not quite sure what to do, look on page 3 from our example from yesterday. Yes, Alejandra, go ahead. Diego, I see you found my ready reading video. Nice job. You'll be able to use that later also. When you're done, go ahead and click to page 9. Yep, looks good, Maria. Looks like everyone's on the right track. I love it. Natalie, think about how many of those squares you're going to need, babe. So I see some of us are still working on this one. I'm going to leave it up for another minute before we move on. If you're already on page 9, you can start looking at those questions and start answering them if you would like. All right, page 9, here we go. This is just like page 4 from yesterday. We're going to look at these number lines. I need to change my marker back to my small dot before I forget. And remember, I draw my line from 0 to 0, 1 hole to 1 hole. That way I can compare the size of these pieces. So if this is 1/3 and this is 2/3, oops. All right, so then I need to figure out 1/3 is right here. How many 6 make the same as that 1/3? Two-thirds is right here. How many 6 make 2/3? 3/3 is right here. It's 1 whole. How many pieces make 3/3? Go ahead and answer those. Remember, it's cut in half. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces. So they are each one of 6 pieces. Go ahead and fill those in for those equivalent fractions. So Andres, make sure that you draw this picture, buddy. Make sure you draw those lines and you write the 6th at the bottom so you remember that they are each 1/6. Each of those tiny squares is 1/6. Katsia, great job. That looks awesome. Joseph, did you already finish the top one? Perfect. Hey, David, having internet issues?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. No worries. Thanks for rejoining. All right. Choose one pair of equivalent fractions from part A. Use the number lines to explain how you know the fractions are equivalent. So I'm actually going to change my color here. We're going to choose the first fraction, 1/3, and this fraction here that you discovered that is equivalent to it. So you could say, I know that 1/3 equals how many 6 because and tell me, how do you know that they are the same? Because they take the same amount of space, because they both end at the same point on the number line. Go ahead, Amelia.
Is it like the other one that we did last time?
Yes, absolutely. It's the same as the one we did yesterday. So if you want to look at your answer from yesterday, that would be a great idea to help remind you of what it should kind of look like. All right, number 6. Thomas drew these two models. Each model shows shows equal parts. Thomas says each model has the same fraction shaded. Is he correct and explain? So you're going to say yes or no. Because What fraction is or is not equal to the other fraction? Remember, it's this very similar to the one we did yesterday. So if you're not quite sure how to answer it, look back at your example. Then when you're done with this one, you can go ahead and click to page 10, or last page. I'll leave it up until I see most of us on page 10, and then we'll go from there. Maria, I record the Zooms just in case anything crazy happens and it's recorded. Like there have been, not this year, knock on wood, but like last year when we first started distance learning, it never happened in my Zoom, but I know in some other Zooms, people would Zoom bomb. So they would like jump into Zoom meetings that aren't theirs and just kind of be crazy and do all sorts of silliness. So I have them recorded just in case anything like that were to happen or whatever. So the school has it. Alrighty, let's look at page 10. If you're not quite finished with page 9 yet, that's totally fine. But I do want to make sure we have enough time for our reading activity as well. Question 7 says, which fractions can be represented on the number line below? Choose all of the correct answers. Very similar to what we did yesterday. We'll go from 0 to 1. Figure out how many pieces it takes for a whole. And then I'm just going to count the lines after that to see if they fall on the line or not. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces in a whole. That means my denominator, my bottom number, is going to be 8. So if it does not end in an 8, I can cross it out. This one is thirds, doesn't work. Eighths could work. Eighths could work. Sixths doesn't work. Another eighths that could work. Now, I'm just going to take my marker tool and I'm going to draw a dot on the lines and see which ones fall on the lines. 2 eighths. 1, 2. 10 eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those both work, so I would circle it. Just like we did yesterday, you can look at page 5 if you're not quite sure what to do.
Mrs. Myring,
Yes.
I know it says choose all the correct answers,
Mhm.
but I only got one answer that's correct.
There are more than one. Make sure you count your lines carefully. There's more than one. The last one, and you choose true or false. You're going to decide, does this number line show A at 3/6? Does it show B at 5/8? C at 1/2? D at 10/3? I would recommend going from 0 to 1. That way you can at least make sure if it's the right number of parts, that right denominator, and then if it's in the right part. Same thing here. 0 to 1. This one's 0 to 1. And 0 to 1. So go ahead or choose true or false for all of those. And then if you want to do the rest of the number line, you totally can. I would recommend at least doing 0 to 1 so you know what the denominator, the bottom number, should be. How many pieces make one whole? Here, Amelia, I can zoom out. Like this. When you're done with this, you can press the green check mark and turn it in.